Hello, and it seems like a long time since I've seen you or talked to you or you've seen me or whatever. But welcome to the Cannon County Chamber Connection. And of course, this is always brought to you by DTC with our thanks. It's a good opportunity to show off Cannon County, I guess you might say. And my name is Carolyn Motley. My co-host is Keith Reddy, and we want to wish you a happy and a healthy new year. And with the COVID vaccines coming on board now, we're hoping that our future may look a little brighter as far as COVID has changed our world. I mean, it really has. And whether you're small like we are, a rural county, or in some bigger county, bigger cities, it's even worse. So I guess you have to count your blessings to some degree. Events are difficult to come by these days. It's not that people don't want to have them. It's just that they discourage mingling with big crowds. And as the vaccines become more available and people are getting them, perhaps this will change at some time this year. But we welcome you to the show anyway. Keith, you have anything to add to that?
No, you said it pretty well.
Pretty well. Hey, I
Pretty
did
good.
darn good.
I give you the 5-star stamp of approval.
Well, all right, there you go. He has to say that, of course. I do have a guest with us today, and you know, one of the things that I thought, well, with all this going on, new business would kind of shy away. But that's really not been the case to that extent. And some businesses, of course, have done great through all of this, grocery stores. I think even our hardware stores and everything, because people had to stay at home, so they were fixing up their house, and that's okay. But my guest today is Cindy Bush, and she is one of the proud owners. You do have a partner in this, don't you, Cindy?
I do.
Of a new business coming to Woodbury, and they've been working on it for a while. It's named Willow 210 Vintage Market, and it is located at 210 Water Street in Woodbury, right across from the courthouse. Cindy, what made you think you wanted to do this?
Well, that's a great question, and one that I've been asked many times. So I have always had a love of antiques.
Okay.
I think I got that from my dad. He went to auctions when I was younger and always bring home some really great pieces. And so I have always, even in my early years, not that I'm super old, but I do feel super old. But anyway.
It's opening a business, that's
right,
what it is.
exactly. Yeah, I think that's added some years onto my life for sure. But I have always enjoyed going to communities. Obviously, Woodbury, because we're from here, has been a favorite stop of mine for years. The Old Feed Store, the Iron Pig Antiques. We've gone to Lebanon, all over Middle Tennessee. Even when we vacation, I'll try to find the vintage stores and the antique places,
Right.
just to kind of rummage through. So it's something that I've always enjoyed.
You and a lot of other people.
Me and a lot of other people, yes. So having spent the better part of my career in behavioral health, I started looking at what I might want to do when I get out of that, and something I would really enjoy. And so that's kind of where the idea came from.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
And who's your partner?
My partner is my daughter, Allison Wood. Yeah, she got married a couple years ago. She graduated from MTSU in 2018 with her master's degree in sports management. So she's got kind of a business background, more centered in sports, but with COVID, it's been difficult finding, as you can imagine, positions within the sports space. So I brought her on board, and we're very, very excited.
I was talking about your business last night. We did a ball game Smith County.
Yes.
And, we do it on Facebook Live now.
Okay.
And was talking about your business last night. I didn't know if Carolyn had gotten a hold of you or not, but I said,
I called
Chad
her
Hale,
bright
one
and
of
early
Alan's
this morning.
Former students.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
He's sitting
yes.
right next to me filming, and I looked over at Chad and I said, well, we got your one of your high school coaches coming to join me tomorrow, I hope. I
Yes.
know. And I said, if anybody's out there, I'm not for sure if Carolyn got a chance to get a hold of Cindy and Alan, but if anybody's out there, get a hold of them and tell them, hey, we want you up here at the Art Center tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock so we can interview you.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's actually at Siegel today, so
Yeah.
he's probably sad that he missed his opportunity.
Well, we might do this again. You never know.
But that's amazing. I remember your daughter when she was just, running around as a toddler. And now she's grown and
Yes.
married and,
I know.
MTSU, big degree and stuff.
Yeah.
And you talked about old, and I'm getting old too.
I know. Time certainly does fly.
Yeah.
Well,
It does.
I've got you beat. I remember when Alan and my son
Right.
played ball together.
Yeah.
Many stories.
Yes, we are. There are very many stories, but yeah, this doesn't seem possible that you have a daughter that's graduated college already.
You've got a
Yes.
son too, correct?
I do. Riley is a sophomore at UT.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
What's he majoring in?
He's undecided.
Well, that,
He's leaning towards computer science or maybe pre-law. Who knows? But yeah, he's got a little bit of time left, but he's
well, that changes usually. They may go into college thinking one thing and it may change 2 or 3 times.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's okay. 'Cause
It is, yeah. At the end of the day, you want, that's a decision you don't want to sit on the fence about. You've got to take your
well,
time and really.
you don't want to do something you hate.
Right, exactly. Right. Or for the wrong reasons.
Right,
Or,
right.
something like that. So,
So
But-
how's your market going to be set up? Is it going to be vendors? Is it?
yes, it will. So it's going to be set up like the traditional, antique mall that you think of. So we think that we can fit about 30 spaces in the top. We've got about 4,000 square feet upstairs and then 4,000 square feet downstairs. So
So
it's
you
a
are
good
going to
sized
use the
building.
basement too?
We will absolutely utilize the basement. We're hoping to grow big enough to do that.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got about a third of it filled already. So we are looking
Well,
for.
that's really good.
Yeah,
Cindy.
we have a lot of good interest in it at this point, and we've not opened our doors yet. So that's.
Local interest, or is it from the area?
There are some local vendors. Most of them are from outside of Woodbury who do this as a full-time,
Job.
Yeah. So.
And you are wanting more.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell them
We
how to
we
get
have
in
space.
touch with you.
Okay, so you can find us on Facebook at Willow 210 Vintage Market. We're also on Instagram at that same name, Willow 210 Vintage Market. We have an email, willow210market@gmail.com. And then we ran an ad in the Cougar this week also with a phone number.
Right.
And that's 615-653-2960.
And you can always call the chamber if you didn't get all of those.
Right.
And I'll be glad to give you those.
Go buy you paper.
Well, you can also buy a courier because the ad is in there.
Yes.
But you are planning a grand opening, aren't you?
We are. Our grand opening is planned for February the 20th. That's a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to have food, refreshments, drinks, gift bags for the first 25 customers. So yeah, we're really excited. Really
Okay.
excited about it.
I know
And-
you've been renovating in there. Is it complete or
It is
close
not
to being
complete.
Okay.
No, in fact, I just came from there. Our flooring contractor is starting today. We're putting a brand new hardwood laminate floor down. We've plastered the ceiling. We've repaired the walls. We've renovated and gutted the kitchen and the bathroom. You name it, and if it's a corner in the building, we've been working on it. So
I've been in this building before, and the last time I was in there, the bathroom especially was kind of scary.
yes, you wouldn't recognize it.
Well, good.
Now, yeah, we've made it much more accessible
Well,
than what it was.
You know, it's an old building. Several businesses have been in and out.
Yes,
And so, but you have purchased it, so
we did. Yeah, we did.
This
That was
is
a
good.
process. But yeah, like I was telling you earlier, we did. And so we were able to kind of make it our own and really invest in it for, long term.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're excited.
Well, that's a good thing.
And a side note is, I worked my first job in that building. I was in 1988. I was 16, and I worked for Bank of Commerce
okay.
in the bookkeeping department, and
That's right. They did
the
have their
building.
bookkeeping
and I
over
actually
there.
worked with your daughter.
Yes, you
Christy.
did.
That's how I first first met her, was there, and so it was
I had
pretty
forgotten
interesting.
that they did have their bookkeeping over there, the Bank of Commerce did.
Yeah, it did. The bookkeeping was in the front portion, and then the proof department was in the back of the building. So they utilized the entire space.
And since then, it's been the Cannon Courier.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
been a flower shop. It's been a
Liquidation store.
liquidation
Oh,
store.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, there was something else it seems like maybe was in there for a while, but that's great. That, everybody says, well, it's another antique store, but listen, people come to the antique stores. They do.
I think so too. I mean,
Well, you can see.
yes, you can, and I've been on the opposite side of that as a consumer, and when folks who enjoy that and do that as a hobby, like I was telling you earlier, they don't go just to one store.
they wanna go
hit
to a
all
lot.
of the stores,
Right.
in that community. And so I'm hoping that we can add to the already established community of really, really good,
Are you going to have a
antique stores.
space in the antique store?
I am.
And they're
Well, of
selling
course.
some of the stuff that you've collected over the years?
Yes.
Or how's that work?
Yes, that's exactly how it works. Yes,
Okay.
Alan's kind of said, okay, we don't need to add anymore. We need to get rid of, and then we can add more.
But see, the thing is, Alan probably buys, antique pieces for her for Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that.
I don't
Probably
know.
put a
I don't
stop
know.
that you cannot sell this.
Right, perhaps, yeah. We've not got that far into the conversation yet.
That's
But
not going.
He also enjoys it. He'll look for, he's got his own interests that he looks for. And so, so we both enjoy that.
Well, you want a variety.
Right.
Right.
You don't just stop at, other antique stores. You go to flea markets. You can find antiques at yard sales. I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Listen, my
Yes.
daughter has a booth and her husband at the old feed store. And of course, she likes going to auctions. They do the online auctions. They go to, it's a job having a booth.
It is. It certainly is.
And I've always thought, well, maybe I ought to have them, but I only have one or two pieces I want to get rid of.
Right.
That'd be a quick auction.
That would.
Yeah, it would. I thought, I don't know that I can do a booth with one or two pieces. so.
Right. But yeah, it certainly is a full-time job. But again, if that's, that's what
Well,
you
she
like to do and
enjoys doing
enjoys
it. She
then
does.
Yes, yeah.
And sometimes she gets surprised. I went with her to one auction, and really, when we got there, I thought, well, this is going to be interesting because they just had a bunch of boxes piled up on a truck bed, and you were bidding on.
What was it? Just the contents of the
guess.
box? Yeah.
And I got a real surprise in some of them. I only bid on 2 of them. And the only reason I bid on them is I have this thing about Christmas stuff. I love it. And there was a basket or something sticking out of the top. So I bid on it and I got it. Didn't pay much for it. But oh my gosh, when I got to digging in there, I told my daughter, I says, I think they dumped their trash in here.
Oh, no.
Because I did throw most of it away.
Yeah, so they put the really nice thing on top.
One thing.
That was to entice you, yeah.
Yeah.
You took the trap.
And then I took all their trash off. So, but we just laughed. I mean, I thought that was, and she got some surprises too. But now she goes online and, golly, she got a Christmas tree for, I don't think it had ever been used. And it was one of those that had the remote where the lights changed
really?
from white to colored.
Oh, wow.
And it was beautiful, and she kept it. But I think she paid like $12 for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So every now and then,
Yeah,
even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
right.
Well, a lot of these businesses now are starting to grow in these online offerings, the boutique stores, especially around here and off the square.
Absolutely.
You guys gonna start Willow TV and do some auctions and stuff like that down the road?
We don't have plans for that, but what some other folks who are in this space have done, especially you were talking about the impact that COVID has had, they have had online auctions where some of their vendors will put an item up for auction, and they'll actually have it on Facebook. They'll use social media as a platform for an auction, another way, to help their vendors out to sell some of their items, and then keep interest as well.
Of course, that promotes your business too, because they can come down. People will tell where your location is.
Exactly.
So that helps you.
Exactly.
Well, as being a member of the chamber also, if you do go online, we pull it off and put it on our Facebook. So if you have a picture of whatever in there, then it goes on the Facebook for the chamber too. So
that sounds great. Yeah, for sure.
that works out good.
Absolutely.
And Iron Pig has a lot of on there.
Yes.
Tea Cakes has a lot.
Yes.
The old feed store, I guess I need to talk to Debbie. I don't know if they don't go online to put their ads or whatever, I'm not sure, but we don't get that many from them.
Yeah,
But
I've not seen a whole lot from Old Feed Store.
I haven't either, and they may not do that, but I'll talk to her about it and see.
That's Allison's department. She's the marketing guru.
There you go.
Everything. So that is totally her. So it will be very often that we will
Put
post
things up that we
yes.
can.
Yeah,
and,
we'll be very active on social media. So.
And a lot of our boutiques, that is how they survived through this,
yes.
is they went online and sold things that way.
Right. It's been instrumental, I think, in helping a lot of small businesses.
It has. It's really been
Kinda
difficult.
Like when I started doing these games, the reason why I did Facebook Live was I ran out of room in a press box. And so I sat outside and said, all right, I'm not going to be able to set my computer up. Let's see what this does. And when I hit that, play button or the record button or whatever it was, and all of a sudden I start seeing people pop up,
Yes.
Of course, I can't read any of their status messages or anything like that. And by the time it was over, we had about 800 people watch an audio version of the first game. And I said, okay, this is where we're going.
Exactly. Yes.
And the other day we did, DeKalb and Canning, and that's a rivalry. We had 1,700.
Oh, wow, I bet.
Then, and then now it's up to about 2,500.
Yes.
After that. So.
Yeah, it's a great platform.
It's an awesome platform.
I don't know of anyone really who's either not on Facebook or doesn't know what it is. And of course, everyone has a phone these days.
Right.
And so that's, easy reach.
Right.
That's easy reach for your targeted audience.
Yeah.
So that's fabulous.
And it tells you, how many people you've had view it or are interested in it or whatever, know. So that's an advantage too.
Yes.
Well, Cindy, is there anything else you want to tell us?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, now your grand opening is going to be on the 20th.
Yes.
And that is also the second day of the Winterfest in downtown.
Yes, it is.
Woodbury. And this is a yearly thing, and most of the merchants, and I think all of the antique stores, get involved in that, and they have shopping specials and everything. So that will be February 19th and 20th.
Yes.
And then your grand opening will be the 20th, and it will be from what time?
10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
That's
Now,
Saturday.
we'll do a ribbon cutting, and you just need to tell me what time you want to do that ribbon cutting.
Okay. I will do that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I will notify people, and
Okay.
everybody come, because I'm sure, like you say, you'll have refreshments.
Oh, we will. Yes. I'm recruiting all of my friends.
All right. Well,
Who
you
are great
know,
cooks.
that's what they've done
Well,
in
Alan
the
usually goes
past.
to Rick's barbecue or stuff when he needs to,
Yeah.
to cater an event, doesn't he?
Yes, maybe he'll bring his smoker up.
Yeah, there we
and
go.
Smoke some brisket for
Yeah.
us. Who knows?
Who is that?
Alan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his go-to
he's a
person
master
down
smoker.
here was always Prater's barbecue, but
Oh,
there
yeah,
at Murfreesboro,
yeah.
I'm thinking it was Rick's, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So he
Yeah.
told me that he needed to get it catered like for a banquet or something for his ball team or something.
Hey, it
Right.
doesn't matter. They'll eat anything.
Yeah,
They will.
Right. They will. That's true. That's true.
You have food and door prizes,
Yes. Food and door prizes.
good deal.
Yes.
and they
yeah.
will come.
Yeah, and we're so excited. Like I said, it's been fun. We've ran into folks that we haven't seen in a while throughout this process, and you know, Cannon County will always be home. We live in Murfreesboro now, but when we say home, we mean Cannon County. So
Listen, if you can go through a renovation, your husband and you, I'd say you'll stay together always, because if that doesn't split you up, nothing will.
I know, and of course, my parents have been instrumental in helping us too. Of course, Dad's just a jack of all trades, and he would say he's a master at none, but of course, I think he's a master at all.
I'm married to one of those two.
Yes, he has been phenomenal. We've had such great support from our family and friends, and like I said, we're just really excited to be here.
Well, I hope it all works out, and I'm glad to see that building being used for something. I hate to see our buildings set empty and in bad repair.
Right,
I do.
right.
So this
Yeah.
is a real plus, and I think you're in there for the duration, so that's good too.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Well,
So-
dear, you are welcome to stay with us, or if you need to leave, then you're welcome to do that too.
Okay,
But
okay. Well,
we
like I said,
appreciate you coming
Thank
in.
you so much. My flooring contractor is there, and I said I'll be back in a jiff. So
All right.
I will probably scoot back on over there.
Well, this is a gift.
Okay, well, very
sir.
good. And thank you so much, Carolyn.
right.
I appreciate it, and you too, Keith. And
Well, we'll see more of you.
absolutely. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds interesting. And like I say, you're always ready, and we always need new businesses in town, and I'm proud that somebody has purchased one of the buildings and will make good use of it. So y'all just come in and visit all of the stores that we have in town, because surprisingly enough, as many businesses that have gone out, most of ours has stayed in business during this. They really have.
And businesses flourished through this COVID. You would
Well,
think
I
they would have
think,
sunk, but-
I think it has been, I think they've really had to think outside of the box,
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them came up with the ideas like the auctions and
Yeah, to
going
do-
online and
to get their event, you know, to have events and to stay in business, but they've done really well, and I take my hat off to them because they've worked hard at it. And we're hoping it gets easier and we can get back to having the events around the square and this type of thing, but we are short on events right now, and I think people are a little slower possibly to let us know about them because they're not sure if they'll be able to have them. But some of the things that we want to share with you, it's the beginning of the year, and every year we get new laws that come into effect. And this year was no exception. And Keith, I believe that you had these in the paper.
I did.
But one of them that is in effect, went into effect January 1st, was the minimum age to purchase, possess, or consume any tobacco products is going to be age 21. So 18, you're not going to be able to purchase any of these. This includes tobacco, hemp, or vapor products. And anyone violating this law will be committing a Class C misdemeanor. So whatever goes with that, you know, that's
11 months, 29 days of probation.
okay. Well, there you go. And there's, and that's age 21 now. So
Right.
keep that in mind.
And they have said that they will crack down on anybody under 21. If you're 18, 19, no matter what, it's kind of like getting caught with alcohol.
Well, the businesses is where it will fall back on because they will have to check IDs.
Right, right.
I mean, they do anyway, I think,
Yeah.
for most everybody. I've been in stores where they checked IDs. I've been in stores where they checked my ID, and I was so happy. Anyway, I don't use any of those, so doesn't pertain to me, but it's going to pertain because people start smoking and everything at a lot younger age. And the vaping, to me, is just a big puff of smoke or whatever that is, steam. You can always, if you're following someone that's smoking in the car and they're vaping,
Yeah.
you can always tell. It's like a haze in there. And
Yeah.
then they open the window and it's just tons of whatever that is coming out of the window. So, yeah, you can't hide that. They're going to see it. All right, then another one is all 911 operators will be CPR trained. And I think this is probably a good thing because if you're calling 911, the person that's answering your call, I would say not most of the time, but a lot of the time, it's due to heart attacks and things like this, so they can instruct you on how to possibly save that person's life if need be.
Yeah, a lot of the times that they did a study on a lot of the calls, I think 84%, I think is what the report said, that were heart attack or heart-related
Right.
problems. And they wanted, the state of Tennessee wanted the operators to be CPR trained because a lot of them weren't, so.
Right.
No.
So you can kind of tell people.
How to-
What that makes sense to me. It does. And I don't think the training is that intense or that long.
Just
you know,
don't expect the operator, the 911 operator, to jump to the phone to give you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. It's not going to work.
No, that's going to have to be the one she's instructing or they're instructing. Okay, I didn't even realize this was an issue, this next one, and this is car sharing regulations. Car sharing allows individual car owners to rent out their vehicles. This legislation sets minimum insurance requirements for car sharing and specifies which party's policy is responsible for coverage during the car sharing period. Now, I guess I didn't realize, I know people have loaned their cars to family members, and I didn't realize that they rented their cars.
Yeah, it's a new fad, I guess you could say, a new phase.
It's kind of like Uber.
In Nashville, basically where the boom came, and I guess it caught some of the politicians up in Nashville, some of the representatives, it caught their attention saying, hey, wait a minute, we need some laws because, what's to stop, and it's probably going to be an extension that you'll see a little later. The regulations are probably going to increase because once it starts to get rolling and the word gets out there, a lot of people may end up doing this.
Well, I'd say the insurance companies had a say in this too,
Yeah.
because the whole thing is if the person renting the car has an accident, whose insurance pays for that?
Right, right.
The person who owns the car or the person who's driving it?
Right. And see, I think what it is now with this regulations that are in place is that the person who is renting that car has to have the insurance.
To cover.
It's just like going to Enterprise or something
Right.
like that now.
Right.
Have to have your own insurance.
But like I say, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that was an issue. I never thought about renting
It
my
was on the
car.
bottom of the list, though, and the law list. It was on the bottom of the list, but I decided to put it in there just in case somebody around here wants to rent out their car. Who knows? And people may be doing it here.
Well, I'm
I've
sure
not heard of it.
maybe they are. I just didn't realize it.
I don't know anybody want to rent my car.
Well, I don't think I would rent my
Kind of
car.
like last night. I'll tell you a story real quick. I was talking to him about it. I was driving through Smith County last night on my way back home, and I got pulled over at night. My car, and if you know my car, I mean, you know how bad my car is. It sputters. It tells me it doesn't want to make it up a hill.
You didn't want to slow down.
No, I was going slow. I thought I was going slow. 45. I was going about 50 miles an hour when I passed this guy.
The policeman.
Next thing I know, here come the headlights on, and he pulls in behind me, starts following me, and here come the blue lights. So I'm like, what in the world did I do to get pulled over? Got my seatbelt on, everything's good to go.
Is your lights
He
on?
walks up to me. Yeah, the lights were on, everything's fine. He walks up to me and he goes, do you know what the speed limit is here? And I'm thinking, oh, he's going to get me for going too slow. I sit out there and I said, no, sir, I don't. I said, I'm thinking it's about 55. I said, and when I looked down, he goes, do you know how fast you were going? Well, I said, when I passed your vehicle, I looked down my speedometer and I was going in between 45 and 50. Oh, no, sir. You were going 68. I beg to differ. My car will not go 68 miles an hour. Are you sure that's correct? My radar is state calibrated with the regulations and all this stuff. Luckily, I didn't get a ticket. I just think he just wanted to pull me over and talk. But I told him. Well, and basically he did say this. He said, he goes, well, if you want to challenge this, we can go to court. I can write you a ticket if you want to. That signified to me that he wasn't going to write me a ticket. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy just wants to talk about it. So I told him, after I gave him my license, or insurance and registration and license, he asked me where I was going. I said, I'm heading home, and told him what I'd done. And of course, he's like, oh, well, you've had a long day already. Go on home. You're good, Thank you. But,
Well, at least he was nice to you, kid.
yeah.
Now, if you'd have been smart, he'd have probably
Well, I
jerked
think
you out of the car.
when we first got the conversation going, it was headed that way. Because after that, we can go to court. I'm thinking, really? We'll go to court if that's what you want to do, because I'll get some mechanics to look at my car, and they'll write down what they think is wrong with it, which is everything. I'm leaking fuel out of that thing, by the way. And I'm going to go try to get it worked on Monday. But the thing is that, and I told him, I said, look, Monday, I've been having problems with this car. I said, Monday, I went to get my emissions, because you have to get emissions done in Rutherford County. And I told him, I said, I had my emissions, to get my emissions done. I about fell through the floor when they approved it. I was like, are you kidding me? You need to redo this and look at it again, because there's no way that thing can pass emissions. Because I've got a fuel smell coming out of it.
I'm glad that we don't have that up here.
Yeah, he acknowledged that he could smell the fuel, so I think he kind of felt sorry for me, plus the fact that once I told him exactly
Well,
what I
I
was
think
doing.
you had several problems. He could have probably given you a ticket.
Yeah, probably so. You're polluting the air, buddy.
Well, Keith, I'm going to tell you,
But don't rent my vehicle.
like I told that man that came through town and got a ticket as he was entering in to Woodbury, and he called the chamber, and he was so rude and so mad, and he'd be glad when they finished that bypass, so he never had to come through Woodbury again, and he just went on and on. It was nothing but a speed trap. Finally, I had listened patiently. Finally, I told him, I said, sir, if you can read, you should not get a speeding ticket going through Woodbury, because there's signs all over telling you how fast to go.
Yeah.
So if you can't read, I can see how you would go over
Did he get this
that.
in Woodbury, or did he get on John Berry? He got it in Woodbury.
He was coming into Woodbury as you're coming in,
Probably right there. Yeah,
where it drops from one to the other. But I mean, it tells you.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people, they get so mad. And I thought, well, read the signs and do what it says.
And to some people's defense, it was been about a week ago, I saw a state trooper sitting in that little cross right when the speed drops.
Well, yeah, they're going to sit where they're,
And if you're
So you gotta
going
pay attention.
55 and all of a sudden, that's when the sign comes up on you, 45, and you drop, you're not gonna drop quick enough before this guy can come get you. So I can kind of see where some people get upset. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
That's
there's signs all over.
technically-
Well, technically is good enough for some of these.
Well, he was just being, I thought, well, you know what? I'll be glad when they get the bypass too, so you don't have to go through Woodbury anymore,
You
but
have sheriff's department and all these police officers now are going to be watching this video going, okay, Keith, next time we see you running through town, we're going to nail you. But then again,
Well-
my car probably won't go fast enough.
I still,
We're
I
back
don't-
to square one.
I don't know if they'll buy that, but I mean, I have followed people down Woodbury Hill because I come in that way from McMinnville every day, forever. I've been doing that. And there are people that will come down Woodbury Hill doing 35 and 40 miles an hour. You have to ride your brakes to follow them.
Yeah.
Now, you got to be a little careful, but I could get out and run faster than they were going. I don't think you have to be quite so careful, but
Next 5K that comes in Cannon County, Carolyn's going to get around, and we want you to drive your car down the trail.
see if I can run fast as it was.
Try to run
Well, I couldn't anymore. At one time maybe, but no, not anymore. Okay, another one of the laws that has come into effect, and this doesn't surprise me, the Holly Bobo Act. And of course, as we all know, Holly Bobo was the girl that was killed. She was 18, and it took years for them, I think, to find out that she was taken and killed in the woods not far from her house. And this law increases the age limit from 18 to 21 for endangered missing child alerts under the Amber Alert system. So it used to be if you were over 18, they didn't put you on that. But now they will up to age 21. I don't know that that would have helped her, bless her heart, but I can understand how that would, that's not a bad law. And then the other lawsuits that have come in is the Veterans in Crisis Law. Do you know what all that entails?
Basically, once again, it's more that people have the ability to get counseling, to be able to refer veterans to different counseling organizations and stuff when they're in a lot of depression and
Right.
stuff like that. And it's to help them
Well, I just
get that
thought
type of help.
common sense would tell you that, but
Well,
I
I
guess you
mean-
need laws for everything. Huh?
Well, it's kind of like your veteran service officers.
Right.
And stuff, and they're sitting up
That
there.
they can give,
They can give that, yeah.
Yeah,
that help.
okay. That's fine. This one is another one that I thought this was something we already had, and that's the Tennessee Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. And I think this probably includes anybody with disabilities. It will affect employers because you will have to be aware of their health circumstances. In other words, if you have a lady that works for you that's pregnant and the doctor advises her to get off her feet, you will have to provide seating for her, additional bathroom breaks. And anybody that's ever been pregnant understands that. And then maybe drinking water.
Yeah.
Not drinking, but water breaks and everything. And this could apply to a lot of other disabilities. But there is now a Workers' Fairness Act that's going to go along with that. And there isn't anything too drastic in there.
No, not this year.
No, there isn't.
And once again, we've got to be mindful that COVID really took a grip on legislative session last year. And
Well, that may be,
this year too.
that may be one reason you don't have as many laws, because it did. And, as far as for events, the ones that I am aware of right now, and there may be more coming, I think a lot of it will depend on how the vaccines work. And of course, you go by your guidelines that your state sends out. But Winterfest downtown, and that will be February 19th and 20th. And also the Arts Center is planning an online auction in February, but they haven't pinpointed that date and time. But you can always go to their website and find out. They should be setting that. A lot of places have done this. They have some great items out of their gift shop and everything for this auction. So kind of keep checking on their website and see when the date comes up for that, or call them at 615-563-2787 and give them a few days, because they're trying to find an adequate date for that, but it will be in February. Of course, we always have Cannon County basketball,
That's right.
and we also have Junior Pro.
And starting the 21st, I believe, is the first game. The in-county grammar schools will be playing in-county games with each other. They just
I didn't know
wrapped
if they
up
had
the
approved those or not.
Yeah, they just wrapped up the middle grades basketball season with a cancellation against Troutdale County back on Monday. But they're excited. Principal Crook of Auburntown is heading it up, and she emailed me and said, hey, we got this schedule coming. They're going all the way through March. So you get a little March Madness in your basketball schedule this year from grammar schools, and 2 games a week. First week will be a Thursday and a Saturday.
Is it going to be with full audiences, or the audience is going to be
it's gonna
limited?
be pretty limited, because they're already asking me to come out with a video camera and show live, just like what we do at the high school games, you know. So, yeah, very, very limited audience. It's probably going to be even more limited in the high school. That's what you're looking at. I think, and I talked about this the other day, but I think what's going to end up happening with the way the vaccinations are going, that you'll probably start seeing your sports and your gatherings be able to be increased coming around August or September, because that's when CDC is saying, you know, if everybody gets vaccinated as supposed to, they're looking, well, it jumped. It was 70% of the population, but now it's 75 to 80% of the population. If you can get them vaccinated, then we can start allowing these multiple gatherings. It should be good to go by then. But, you know, it's like professional football, NFL football. Yes, they're not allowing a big crowd. They're maybe 1,000, 2,000 people in a 25 to 30,000 stadium.
Well, how come when I watched the Titans play last weekend, the announcer said with a crowd of 15,000?
There's some of them do allow that. It just kind of depends. And the Nashville mayor, of course, he's taken so much of a beating as to his stance on stuff that they think they, you know, finally relented and said, okay, have fun, have at it, you know. But, you know, for instance, I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Brown mess. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, by the way. But I watched that mess, and they only allowed 2,500 people in their stadium, and they did not sell any tickets to anybody from Cleveland, although 2 Cleveland Brown fans snuck in, I'm sure, under the guise that they were
Well, how come I'm not surprised?
That's okay. Well, yeah. But you're limited. NBA basketball. In the basketball arenas, the only people that are allowed in are coaches and players. It's kind of like they called it the NBA bubble last year. And now that this season they call it whatever, because they're playing in their own gyms. This season that happened before that, still this year, they got together in one gymnasium, and they called it the bubble, and everybody plays in 2 different gymnasiums, and that's all you do. That's your season. This year they went ahead and let them go back to their own cities, but once again, you're not allowed to go in. But again, they're starting to tout season tickets will be on sale starting tomorrow for next year. So,
you know, another thing is, and of course, this is an outside event, and I don't think they're quite as strict maybe on this, but I was at the Lions Club taking down some Christmas stuff over there, and there was all these cars that parked, right to the side of the Lions Club, and I thought, oh, they've rented the building and I'm in here taking the village down. But what it was is, it was, and I think their high school players showed up for baseball practice.
Right.
It was freezing cold.
When we went to Riverdale, we went to Riverdale High School for a ball game. I turned in the wrong driveway, and I'm driving down it. I almost ran over like a group of baseball players. They were all dressed out and everything, and they were going to their field house.
Well, they were coming, and the reason they were parked over there at the Lions Club is because if any of them hit the ball out of the park, it doesn't tear up their cars,
Right,
you know?
right, yeah. Yeah, whenever I go over to that ballpark, I park way over on the other side of the Lions Club. Like that first parking space, I try to get that. Number one reason is because I'm going to be there for a while, so I know all these cars are going to park in behind me and try to trap me.
And they're going to block you in there.
That way I can get out. I can pull through a little grass part of the field there and get out in a reasonable fashion. No,
Well, we did have a board meeting for the chamber
Right.
on Monday, and one of the things that was brought up was, of course, our biggest our only fundraiser for the year is the car show that is in September. I don't know what September will bring, but we usually have cruise-ins starting in April, March or April. We'll probably start them in April because it seems like March is such an iffy thing as far as the weather that we get rained out or froze out or something. So we'll start them in April, providing how things go as far as the COVID and getting groups together and everything. But one of the items we discussed was the fact that they've had to do additional security at our courthouse. So the inside of the courthouse will not be open. The outside can be used, and there's electricity out there, but the inside, due to the enhanced security restrictions, will not be open to the public. So now, that doesn't mean you can't go get your tags and go to the offices that are in there now, but you will be using one door, and that is the one on the handicap side. And I believe that they're checking you as you come in, even if you're going to the offices.
Sure do.
And then, of course, the courtroom is upstairs, and they've been checking up there for weapons and everything else. So just to let you know. And then we'll let you know more as time goes on about the cruise-ins and the car show and any other events. You know, usually in May, the senior center has good old days, and they did have to postpone that last year. And that's in May, and we'll see what happens there, because I really don't know what to say. Hopefully the COVID infections will decrease and more events will be planned as the vaccine gets to more people.
Right.
But I can't guarantee that. You know, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's going to take everybody to defeat this pandemic. And as soon as we all learn that, the better off we'll be. So, Keith, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
Not that I can think of. It was very well laid out on the sheet here, so our cheat sheet.
Yeah, well, I got to have one of those.
Right.
I will mention a little bit about, of course, tourism is a big part of any community, even Cannon County or any of the communities around us. The Department of Tourism did offer a CARES Travel Safely grant campaign. The thing was, it started, oh my gosh, right about the very end of October, and it had to be completed by December 30th. So we really had to hustle, and of course, they wanted this done for the love of tourism, and that was in your county or, well, in the state of Tennessee. Now, it's hard to encourage tourism when when they're telling you don't have big crowds. But we did do a video, we did do pictures, we did get masks and hand sanitizer that we handed out at some of the events that we had last year that were in November, and I will hand out some more this year for those that are having events, because I think we're going to be wearing masks regardless for quite some months. So that was part of their travel safely. And I do know that the video that this company had sent out, that it was viewed 116,000 times. It was over 116,000 that viewed it. So I don't think all of them will come to Cannon County, but the whole purpose of that was to let you know. He's got one of our masks.
Got one of the masks here. It looks really good. It's got Cannon County Tourism, and at the bottom of it says travel safe. And it's very handy.
It does.
And I agree with you. I think we'll be wearing masks even after the vaccinations and stuff in August.
For a while, it's going to be.
People that are going to, it's a permanent thing.
Yeah.
You know, they've gotten used to it now. Hey, you know.
Not everybody.
No, not everybody. No, I didn't say that. But there will be people that, you know, and the mask industry will still be going strong, I think. So.
I guess what it is the fear of the unknown, because we really don't know. We don't.
Right.
And we'll just have to wait and see.
Out there, so.
That's right. We got 2 new ones coming in. Some people have caught this. We've had several. Well, we've had well over 100 in Cannon County. And the last I heard, we had 16 deaths that were due to COVID.
It affects people in different ways.
It does, and some aren't so bad.
Right.
And some are just so sick.
I didn't get the pneumonia part. I ended up being one of the, not the 100 here in Canton, but one of the tens of thousands in Rutherford County that got it. But boy, I tell you, you know, when you get it, it gives you a whole new perspective, especially if you get it severely like I had it, you know. And
well, I've had family members that have had it. We have missed a lot of family get-togethers over the year, and I really have hated that, because I'm a big family person and I like the get-togethers, but there's a new baby in the family, or a little one, not a baby, but he's just a little over a year old, and but you know, I think even his mom and daddy, and I think he had it too, but they had like cases of it, so.
A lot of the younger people have the light cases. It's not affecting them as bad as it is the older people.
One thing before we sign off that I am going to encourage anybody over 50 years old, go get the new shingles vaccination. I have had shingles, and it's one of the worst things I've had. And I was vaccinated for them about 7 years ago, but they told me that vaccination diminished over time, and I got them again, and that was in October, and I'm still dealing with them.
I like this show because not only do you cover new laws, we've been introduced new business, we've actually had a medical corner, medical advice right here. Get your shingles.
Well, I'm just telling you that. I'm just trying to keep you healthy.
Right. Well,
all right, we've run out of time, which is amazing, because I didn't think we would have a very long show.
have we run out of time?
Yep. And we want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here again next month, I hope.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yep.